Hello everyone, welcome to Rise of Mordor, the mod for Total War Attila set in the legendary Lord of the Rings universe, a realm of fantasy that many of us grew up with and cherish to this day. Remember that it is still in pre-alpha and won't be made available to the public for quite some time, but I wanted to give a quick introduction for the two completed rosters who will be duking it out in the deserts of Near Harad for this multiplayer battle. The Kingdom of Dale was a realm of men in the shadow of Erebor, the lonely mountain that came to power during the Third Age of Middle-earth. Built upon the northwestern shores of the Long Lake in Rhovanion, the realm prospered due to its natural defensive geography and close proximity to the riches of Erebor. That was, of course, until Smaug the Fire Drake descended from the mountains to the north, laying waste to Esgaroth, the city of Dale, and settling deep within the heart of the lonely mountain. His flaming wrath left two peoples without home or hearth, but the people of Dale were strong and stubborn, and despite their great loss, rebuilt Laketown upon the waters of the Long Lake itself. After Smaug's death at the hands of Bard the Bowman, the kingdom entered a new golden age under the Dragonslayer's benevolent rule, one that saw a powerful alliance form between the Dalians and the Vale of Dorwinion to the east. Flourishing under competent leadership and lucrative trade deals with the dwarves of Erebor and the winemakers of Dorwinion, and bolstered by the powerful armor and weapons that came with both alliances, the Kingdom of Dale stood ready to make an indelible impact on Middle-earth. But the shadow of Mordor was ever growing. In closer proximity to the dark powers rising to the east, the Kingdom of Gondor was strong near the end of the Third Age, if but a shadow of its former Númenórean glory. True, there was no heir of Isildur on the throne of Gondor, and the stewards had ruled for generations, but they had the finest city and standing army of any realm in Middle-earth. Or so they thought. In truth, the Knights of Dol Amroth and Men of Gondor were indeed a very powerful fighting force. The Rangers of Ithilien were among the finest marksmen in Middle-earth, and the Knights of the Silver Swan could trade blows with and best enemy cavalry from the deserts of Near Harad to the vast steppes of Rhûn. But the economic and military glory days of this kingdom were long since past. A new king was needed, one who would embrace the mantle of leadership and usher in a new golden age of power and prosperity. Perhaps a ranger from the north. And so it was that the armies of Dale and Gondor found themselves in the deserts of Near Harad for no particular reason other than the fact that desert lighting in Attila looks fantastic, and Jackiefish and myself wanted to spill each other's blood on the sand. This is a multiplayer battle in Rise of Mordor. There has surprisingly been very little content along those lines on YouTube. I am playing as the Kingdom of Dale, while Jackiefish commands the Gondorians. My army is comprised of a bunch of spear levy in the front just to soak up enemy fire. We've got the Rhovanian Rangers with long range and decent armor piercing, Dalian Marksmen and Barding Archers, heavily armored range units who can wade into melee and make good account of themselves there. Dalian Swordsmen and the Vinland Guard will make up the bulk of my infantry force. You'll get to see plenty of close-ups of those in this one. And for the Gondorian army, Blackroot Vale Archers in the front, Gondor Militia, and a ton of plate-armored swordsmen and spearmen, as you'd expect from the Gondorians, with a unit of Citadel Guard as Jackie's general. It's also got some random assorted militia and axemen of Lossarnach thrown in there as well. The range fight is beginning now. My Rhovanian Rangers and his Blackroot Vale Archers will be trading some blows early on. We'll shift out over to the flank, look at some of the finest cavalry in Middle-earth. The Knights of Dol Amroth with their banner of the Silver Swan, some Gondorian cavalry as well. He's brought 4 units of cav to the field. I have 6, so I do have the cavalry advantage, and I'll be looking to press that early on in this fight. But first, I wanted to press the range advantage, and I believe I do have more archers than him. My Barding Archers are fantastic, heavily armored, and the Rhovanian Rangers are quite good from range as well. So we'll be trading some blows here. Remember, this is Attila. It is not using the Age of Charlemagne HP system, so it's not a 1 HP or 2 HP system. It's working with a big HP pool. So you'll notice in skirmish fights, you'll be firing for a long time, and nothing will drop, and then all of a sudden units will start dropping like crazy. You'll definitely see that in this battle. So my cavalry is moving up. One thing I love to do in these Attila battles is move cavalry to the center and try to chase off archers. So you try to put pressure in the middle of your opponent's army, force them to pull back their archers, and then that'll give your archers more time to fire in. Looks like Jackiefish is doing the exact same thing with his Knights of the Silver Swan. We're moving up on his right flank and looking to harass my troops, but pulling back. Now, you can try to focus fire them down when they move up, because once they turn their shield, they won't get that block chance, and that will allow you to quickly do quite a bit of HP damage to those cavalry. You can see my Dalian Swordsmen moving up in the center, getting ready for this massive assault that's about to come up the center from Jackiefish. Got some more of my Dalian Swordsmen up on top of the hill, kind of overviewing the battlefield, and you can see there are a lot of troops coming in. 4,000 troops on the field for both armies, roughly the same size for both armies. Get a nice cinematic view of the Gondorian assault coming in now. And oops, I just pressed escape there. That was my bad. But as is common with Total War games, you want to be having your cheap troops up front to soak up enemy cav charges or enemy charges from the Axemen of Lacerneck or any high charge bonus units. You see my cavalry right here. I have two that are next to my army and then one that's looking to flank around and get into the rear and deal with those archers. And on my left flank, I have a cliff blocking off the entire left flank of my army so that his cav cannot flank around and do the same to me. So his cav is going to be very hard pressed to do anything over on that side, and I do have a free cav unit because I have 3 to his 2 on my right flank. So be looking to press that and hopefully get into the rear and deal with those archers. But in the center, the infantry has engaged. Jackiefish has a big infantry advantage in this one, way more infantry units than I do. And his Gondorian infantry are all plate armor for the most part, except for the militia, so they're going to do great in melee combat. So my civilian militia here are just going to be trying to survive, soak up the charge, soak up some of that damage early on, and then hopefully my cavalry will be enough to get into the rear and start hammering and anviling and turn the infantry fight in my favor. But it's going to be very tough. So here you see 2 of my cavalry units ganging up on his Knights of the Silver Swan. My Rhovanian Regents are very powerful shot cavalry as well, though. Won't be an easy engagement for the Knights of the Silver Swan by any means. And here come my free cavalry unit in the back, getting into his archers here early on. That's a big swing in my favor if I can take these archers off the field. But his Citadel Guard are quickly coming in to reinforce and will chase off my shot cavalry. But that was a big charge, got a lot of kills there. You can see my cavalry getting hung up on some of the spears, and my militia are still holding the line. Some of my shipmen into combat with the militia as well. So they're holding the line pretty well here, but you can see he has so many more melee troops in the infantry engagement right now. Going to be very tough to hold back the tide of the Gondorians right now. The biggest trump card I have are the Rhovanian Regents that are in his back lines. He does not have any cavalry that can quickly deal with my cav at the moment. They are all tied down right now, and I have yet another unit of cavalry that is free, looking to get into some of these archers. Big charge, punishing charge, going straight into the middle of those Blackroot Vale archers, and yet another free unit of cavalry charging forward. Boom, big charge right into the front of these Gondorian archers as well. So getting these archers off the field early on is going to be important, but they're not the most important or expensive units on the field. It's nice to be able to get that range firepower off the field, but they really aren't the biggest deal. It's more about getting the hammer and anvils into the main infantry line, which is not something I've been able to do yet. Over here, Gondorian cavalry, Knights of the Silver Swan, engaging with my Rhovanian Regents and my merchant cavalry. We'll see how that goes. That fight's going to probably last for a very long time because cavalry has very high HP pools. In the center, Dalian Swordsmen and the Vineland Guards engaging. We've got some of my Rhovanian Rangers stuck in melee as well. Should be pulling them out. Sure, they still have ammunition, so that's probably a mistake for them to be so close in melee combat. Gondorian Swordsmen and the Dalian Swordsmen going at it right now. Be very interesting to see who wins that engagement. I love the models in this mod. They are just gorgeous to look at. So much fun to see Lord of the Rings brought to life in a game as gorgeous as Attila. Of course, it's not the most well-optimized game in the world. In fact, I think it's probably the worst optimized game in Total War history, but it is a beautiful game. You can't deny that one. So you can see my cavalry is free in his back lines, definitely starting to cause some havoc and murder these archers, but he has gotten some good shots into my cav as well. Charging into the flank of these Gondor archers and slaying them. Their crimson staining the sand. Beautiful, beautiful charges from these Rhovanian Regents. Probably my favorite cavalry unit in the mod so far. They are gorgeous to look at. Awesome looking armor. And they are causing a ton of carnage on the field. But the Gondorian infantry is pressing inexorably forward. They are definitely pushing back my infantry in the center, slaying a bunch of my swordsmen and my Vineland guards. And I've had to quickly try and reinforce with some of my archers. I am firing in from above, firing in from the flanks, but it is not enough. My infantry line is definitely starting to crumble, but I'm winning the cav fight on this flank. You see the Gondorian cavalry not quite able to match up with the powerful armor and charge bonus that come in the package that are the Rhovanian Regents. Another cav unit coming in, this time for a punishing hammer and anvil on the main line. This is exactly what I need to turn the infantry fight in my favor, and I'm just going to instantly shatter one of those units. And these Vineland guards have made it in, actually into the flank of the Gondor swordsmen. Got a nice little surround off on them. You can see that armor, very, very highly ornate and powerful armor. It reminds me of the Avari elves armor a little bit. I'm not sure if I mean, they are human. I don't know if that's Avari elven armor or what the lore behind that is, but that's very interesting looking armor. Very cool looking unit. I would love to hear what the mod creators had to say about the ideas behind that unit. But obviously they're from the Vale of Dorwinion. Very powerful infantry. In fact, they're actually the best infantry the Kingdom of Dale can field in this mod. But very powerfully, heavily armored. Just saw another nice hammer and anvil in the Gondor spearmen on this flank, dealing with the Laketown Guard. You guys should go check out that video Oakley made about the Laketown Guard. One of the best Lord of the Rings videos I've ever seen on YouTube. Definitely recommend you checking that out. And they're getting slaughtered right now by the Gondor spearmen. Firing in from the flank, causing some routing in the back lines from the infantry that managed to make it out over there. But this battle is actually shifting somewhat in Jackiefish's favor right now, at least in terms of the balance bar. Firing into the flank of those Gondor swordsmen with my rangers and with my barding archers. Doing a lot of damage. This is exactly how you want to use archers. Get into the flank or rear of an opponent where their shield block chance will not be taken into effect. And just plunk away. And from range, both those archers doing a lot of damage. Lots of blood puffing into the air right now. Good stuff. And of course with the anvil that are my Vale of Dorwinion swordsmen, doing very well in that round of combat. So feeling good about my chances over on that flank for right now. But Gondor is pushing through in the center, and my archers are quickly running out of units that can support them. I have my cav. I am going to win here. Knights of the Silver Swan and some spearmen going to be routing very soon, but I have almost no infantry left, at least in the center. Gondor swordsmen pushing through over the hill now, pushing my archers back. And if he keeps chasing me, they're going to get chased all the way back to the red line, where they will no longer have anywhere to run or maneuver. So I'm going to quickly shift my archers into melee, try to get rid of these isolated units as soon as possible. You see some wavering there. Should rout very soon, pull my cavalry out of combat, and quickly think about a way to turn this fight in my favor. You can see I'm pulling back all of my range units in the center, but I am overwhelming him over on my right flank in the distance there. And I have the cavalry advantage, which is so important in Attila. It is so important to have cav in the late game, and I have done a good job neutralizing the threat from his Knights of the Silver Swan. But I am running out of infantry, and if I have to commit my archers into melee, the bardings will do well, but everything else not exactly designed to be sent into melee combat. And the Citadel Guard are flanking around behind my two archers who ran out of ammo. I got a rear charge off on his Gondor swordsman, and the Vineland guards doing very well in melee right now. But with the arrival of those Citadel Guards from Jackiefish who are flanking around, could definitely turn things in this round of combat in Jackiefish's favor. Oh, here comes a charge. Big charge from those very elite Gondorian spearmen into the back of my archers, and they're not going to want to stick around. Even those bardings, who are very, very heavily armored, will get cut down very quickly by the armor piercing from the Citadel Guard. And in the center, You can see my archers are finally getting committed into melee, mostly out of ammunition, and I'm going to have to commit my marksmen and my rangers. If I don't, just going to be slaughtered at the red line. So sending them all into melee, surrounding these Gondorian swordsmen who might have gotten a little bit overzealous here, but they will be able to cut through my archers very easily. The marksmen are not designed to be fantastic in melee, and the Gondor swordsmen, despite being outnumbered and surrounded, definitely cutting into me. But I have another archer overlapping. He has more swordsmen and spearmen coming in to reinforce, and the balance bar is still dead even at this point. The little bit of ammo left on those archers up top on the hill, firing into the flank, dropping a few of those Gondorian spearmen. And here comes the Cav. This is where they can make a really big impact. Big charge into the front of some swordsmen, pancaking them, sending them into the desert dunes. And my merchant escort should succeed in routing those infantry. That's a big swing in my favor. You can see Jackiefish has been chasing me to the red line, and my archers are surrounding and cutting those infantry units to pieces. Citadel Guard with that rear charge killed all of my archers over there. That combat is going to be very exciting. Let's go back to that in a couple of seconds here. But first, hammer and anvil from into the back of those Gondor infantry with my merchant escorts. And I still have these Rhovanian Regents. My general still alive, still a half-strength unit of powerful shock cavalry in the late game. They're excited. They know what they're about to be able to do. Be able to charge into the back of unsupported infantry, exactly where heavy shot cavalry thrives. Gonna get a little bit hung up on those spear units who come in to reinforce, but it won't matter with that rear charge. Balance bar shifting ever more in my favor, and Jackiefish is starting to lose control of this battle. He has no real answer to my heavy cavalry in the late game, and this is Attila meta. If you have heavy cav near the end of a game and your opponent does not, they are going to be in trouble. There are some units, spearmen can still deal with cavalry, but impact damage and shock charges are so strong in Attila, it can be very tough. With that said, the Vineland Guards and the few remaining Rangers that I have left dealing with the Citadel Guard and the Gondor Swordsmen should be an epic and very cinematic melee fight here. And they're just going to be buying time, waiting for support from the heavy cavalry that will soon be cresting that hill and looking to get a final rear charge into these remaining units. So what do you guys think about this mod? What do you think about Rise of Mordor? Everything that I've seen of it so far is incredible. I think the models are amazing. The soundtrack, which you've been listening to in this video so far, is incredible. They've really done an amazing job with the ambiance and the feel of everything. Obviously, it's a long way off from being complete, but everything that I've seen so far, especially the unit models and especially the soundtrack, are truly fantastic pieces of art. And you can tell that this is a labor of love for the mod creators, which is all you can really ask for, that the mod creators know, understand, and care about the universe that they're trying to replicate. And I think they're going to do an amazing job. Punishing rear charge coming in from my cavalry here, the merchant escorts, and the remnants of my Rhovanian Regents. Just sending the Citadel Guard and those Gondor swordsmen running for the hills. And there will be no mercy, no respite for the Dunedain today. We will slaughter them to the last man. 4,000 Gondorians dead. And hell, well, there's a floating guy there. A lot more, or about as many dead men of Dale as well. I lost the majority of my army, probably less than 800 or so men left on the field after that. So really enjoyable multiplayer battle. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I certainly had a good time. This was the first of 2 multiplayer battles that I played with Jackiefish, and I'll be uploading the second one sometime in the coming weeks. But you can see the stats here. My Vineland Guards did great for me, both 240 and 241 kills. Barding Archers did pretty well for me. One of my Rhovanian Regents, 669 kills. That was the first cav unit to get around the flank and into those archers, and man, did they put in work for me. That is a ton of kills. Shifting over to the Gondorian side, Jackiefish's army, one of his Gondor infantry, almost 400. That is a lot. Citadel Guard with 255 as well, but his cavalry did not make quite the impact that mine did in this one. So again, hope you guys enjoyed this battle. And if you'd like to see some more Rise of Mordor, definitely be up for that. I will be casting the other multiplayer battle I played with Jackiefish, and I'm very much looking forward to another build where we get to see the elves in action and some more rosters. So excited for this mod. Hope you guys are as well. And I'll see you next time. Indypride signing out for now.